model based on our history. Because what would happen was when we would assess someone as our alpha, and let me be clear, your capacity to be an alpha in any population is not an absolute. It is relative to the population you're in.
Yes,
so,
sir.
You might be a technologist or an engineer,
Even
and
if
you might think you're the
you
hottest,
in
best,
that
most
moment.
fantastic engineer, and so does everybody else who's looking like this, and you go take
For
a
a
dance
lot
class,
of
and all of a sudden your
purposes.
ego's not so big anymore, right? We've all had the experience, right? We've all had the experience where we shake someone's hand and we're nervous.
Fucking pieces.
You're not the alpha.
I still
You know?
got my
Or
role.
we can sense that someone's nervous meeting us. You're the alpha, right? It's a relative scale. So when we assess that someone in the population is alpha, we voluntarily step back and allow them first choice of meat and first choice of mate. We let them eat first. We may not get the best choice of meat, but we will eat eventually.
We also have to eat your
and we
share
didn't
of
have to get
bad
an elbow in the
fucking
face
debt.
with that food.
Super
Good
glasses.
system. To this day, we are very comfortable with paying deference and offering advantages to those more senior than us. There's not a single person in this room, zero, that has a problem with somebody more senior than you at the company making more money than you as a salary, having a bigger salary than you. It doesn't bother you at all. You might think they're an idiot, but it doesn't actually bother you that they make more money than you because they outrank you. No issue.
Oh.
It doesn't bother us at all that somebody more senior than us has a bigger office or a better parking space. It is of no issue whatsoever. In fact, we very often find ourselves deferring to our alphas, doing nice things for our alphas. We open doors for them and call them sir and ma'am and get them tea and they didn't even ask. I can promise you that if, as you were walking out of this room, if Steven Spielberg happened to walk in, you would hold the door open for him. And then you would go home and tell your spouse or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you'll never believe what happened today. I held the door open for Steven Spielberg. How come you don't advertise when you hold the door open for anybody else? It's because we're proud to sometimes do menial labor for those who we perceive as alphas in our system. We're proud to work for the groups that they lead and the organizations that they lead. By the way, you can't lead a company. You can run a company. You can only lead people. And so this whole idea of deference and how we always defer and volunteer to these alphas is a natural human response to the survival instinct, and it's all about this. And that's the point. None of those perks that you get for being the leader, for being the alpha, none of them come free. They come at a very high expense. You see, the group is not dumb. We expect that the person who's better fed, the person who's actually stronger or smarter than us, the person who has a higher self-confidence, has more self-confidence because of all our love and deference and hello sir and hello ma'am, to actually boost their self-confidence. We expect that this more confident, stronger, better fed person, when danger threatens the tribe, we expect them to rush towards the danger to protect us. That's the cost of leadership. That's why we gave you first choice of mate. Because you might die. And we want to keep your genes in the gene pool. We're not stupid. And this is what it means to be a leader. The willingness to rush towards the danger to protect those in your care. It is a choice. You don't have to be a leader. It is a choice. If you don't like the costs of leadership, you may not accept the perks of leadership because they do not come for free. This is the reason why we are so viscerally offended by some of the banking CEOs have these disproportionate salaries and bonus structures. It's not the money that offends us. It's that we know deep inside us that they have violated the very definition of what it means to be a leader. They have accepted all of the perks and bonuses and benefits of being the leader, and yet they're not willing to make any of the sacrifices for the role that they have accepted. In other words, we know that they allowed their people to be sacrificed for them to keep their bonuses and perks and advantages. Worse, sometimes they chose to sacrifice their people to protect their bonuses and their perks. This is what so offends us. It's not the money. If I told you we're going to give a $150 million bonus to Nelson Mandela, does anyone have a problem with that? No. How about a $250 million bonus to Mother Teresa? Got an issue with that? No. It's not the money.
Both of them did?
It's not the money.
What does this mean?
It's that leadership is a choice. In our modern day and age, unfortunately, many of the people who like to call themselves leaders are not leaders at all. They are authorities. That's all they are. And we have to do what they say because they have authority over us, but we would not follow them. And this is a problem. Because when we do not feel that they have our backs, when we do not feel safe working inside their organizations, they force us to spend our time and our energy to protect ourselves from them. And the organization itself suffers. It's what happens. It's ironic to me that organizations like your own, who want to drive innovation and ideas and new ways of thinking, would in the same breath lay people off because they didn't make the numbers in 1 year. You do realize that those two concepts are completely counterproductive. It's like talking to a CEO and I ask, what are your priorities? They say, we have two priorities, innovation and efficiency. Not possible. There is nothing efficient about innovation. Try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, succeed. Not efficient. It takes you throw money to try things out. You can be innovative or you can be efficient. You can be efficient and hope for innovation, and you can be innovative and hope for efficiency. There's always going to be one subordinate to the other. Not bad, not better or worse, but let's not kid ourselves and think that they can be equal ground. They cannot. It is impossible. But worse, an organization that claims or hopes or desires or aspires to be innovative must, at every expense, commit themselves to the safety of their people. Because only when we feel safe and protected will we voluntarily commit ourselves to the support of each other and the advancement of the vision. There are very simple ways to do this. Here are just a few. Great leaders would never sacrifice the numbers, would never sacrifice the people to save the numbers. Great leaders would sacrifice the numbers to save the people. And so when we live in a day and age where our leaders are so comfortable sending you home to tell your spouse and your kids, I'm sorry, I no longer have an income because the company had to make its numbers for the year. Forget about the people who lost their jobs. What about the people who didn't get laid off? How inspired do you think they feel to come back to work every day? How safe do you think they feel? Do you think we're going to give our best knowing at the next time that the company doesn't make its numbers? By the way, which may or may not have anything to do with us. Remember all of those outside dangers, the ups and downs of technology, the ups and downs of stock markets, the ups and downs of economies? Do you think when you have a bad year, you sit your children down and say, kids, it's been a bad year, we have to get rid of one of you? Or worse, I got to keep my Mercedes, and so it's either you or the car, and we pick you. Right? No, we tighten the belt. We work together. We figure out ways to make it happen, to see it through the hard times. We cannot judge the quality of a crew based on how they perform in good times. We judge the quality of the crew by how they perform in rough waters. And unfortunately, we throw our crew overboard when we hit rough waters. What makes them want to commit to see the ships make it through the rough waters? What they do is they sit down and watch their own backs because nobody else is going to watch my back. There is no innovation in a group like that. There is no innovation in a group like that. Backstabbing, idea stealing, plenty of that. Nothing personal, gotta look after numero uno. So number one, people come first. Numbers are always subordinate to people. Numbers will not rescue you in hard times. People will. Numbers will not come up with new ideas.
Numbers can only define how many people.
Numbers are not innovative.
Fun way to
That's
think about
number
it.
one. Another one which is really, really, really easy is honesty. It's really easy to be honest. Just tell the truth.
Boom.
And if you tell the truth on a regular basis, we will say you have integrity. That's all it means. These are really basic concepts. So, for example, if somebody calls and the secretary picks up the phone and says, Dave's on the phone, and you say, tell him I'm not here, you've just sanctioned lying inside your organization. That's what you've done. You have said that when it suits you, even if these lies are small, you may tell lies. That was dishonest. I went to visit Quantico Marine Base, where the Marine Corps selects their officers. And on the day I was there, True story. I was waiting in the conference room for the colonel in charge of OCS to come and give us a briefing on the base about OCS, about the selection process. And he arrived late. Marines don't ever arrive late. And he showed up late. He came in and apologized. He said, "I'm sorry, we've had an incident with one of our Marines." So I go, "What happened?" You know? He said, "Well, we're considering throwing him out of OCS, which means throwing him out of the Marine Corps." Like, I'm thinking, what law did he break? What did he do? So I said, "What did he do?" And the colonel said, "He fell asleep on watch." And I said, "That's it?" He fell asleep on watch in the woods of Virginia. You know? I'm like, you guys are tough. He said, and then he explained. He said, "No, you don't understand." He said, when we asked him about it, he denied it. When we asked him about it again, he denied it again. And only when we gave him irrefutable proof did he say, quote, "I want to take responsibility for my actions. The problem we have," he said, "is we believe you take responsibility for your actions at the time you perform your actions, not at the time you get caught." We have another Marine who fell asleep on watch. He admitted it. He got punished. We have no problem with him. And he went on to explain, he says, "You have to understand, I cannot put this Marine in a leadership position where they're responsible for the lives of other Marines. Because if they're in a combat situation and his Marines doubt for 1 second
whether or not this is Sailor Jerry or fucking Captain Morgan,
if they believe for 1 second that the words he is speaking are only to make himself look better or cover his own ass, trust will break down in the whole group and people will die.